Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhallow today? Where, well, I'm not. No, let me think. This video's come out in future, so when you're watching this, hopefully the next Dear Darling YouTube short has come out. I finished editing it about half an hour ago until I realised that I uploaded it to YouTube, and the YouTube shorts is, for some reason, they always have a channel and the title of a short displayed at the bottom, and I realised that the captions went underneath, and I remembered that in YouTube shorts I meant to put the captions at the top, so hopefully that will come. That's why it didn't come out at 3 o'clock, which is normally, it's a schedule I want to try and keep, so I want to try every single Thursday at 3 PM my time. I don't know what it'll be for your time, of course. I would try and upload a short, but anyway. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhollow, it's 3:37 PM on Thursday, April 21st, 2022. If you wonder what it is, well, I mean, you're not going to wonder what it is, because it's probably already been uploaded by the time it's come out. It's it's currently processing HD version, because I had to re-upload it. I don't know how long that's going to take, so I've scheduled it for 4 PM. If that seems like it's not going to make it at 4 PM, if it's not going to process by 4 PM, I might just release it later. I don't really know. I think it's a pretty funny moment. This is one of the moment I immediately thought of when I thought about doing shorts. Well, of course, I'm slowly going to run out of actual things happen in shorts, but turns out, when I just watch through some of my random videos, I'm sure I can think of something. Basically, I just randomly choose one of my Let's Plays and be like, all right, let's find a moment. Let's see if whichever one has the most views or whatever, and we'll just select something from that. I don't really know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like the video editing I'm doing on my shorts is all that crazy amount of video editing. I used to do a lot more video editing. I feel like not for this channel, mind you. I definitely couldn't keep up with the amount of video editing if I had to video edit every single video on this channel, because I'm kind of going for quantity. Well, I don't want to say quantity over quality, because I feel like it's more like quantity over refinement might be the better way to put it. Because obviously I'm not video editing every single upload that goes on the channel. That'd be insane, because it's 2 uploads every single day. I don't know, about all half an hour long. I don't really have time for that sort of thing, I'm going to be perfectly honest, nor do I think you want to watch something like that. And plus, if I edit a video and it still came out to being half an hour long, and I'd just be like, what? And if anything, I guess it's kind of counterintuitive to a point that I wanted to have the videos as a freeform, like, talking practice, I guess. I mean, if I say like that, it sounds a bit robotic, doesn't it? But which I guess kind of shows that perhaps I didn't learn as much as I thought I did. But I like a casual freeform style, and hopefully you do. Well, presumably you do too, otherwise you wouldn't be watching these videos, right? But yeah, I'm trying to think, because like, I mean, I've spoken about this millions of times before. Like I used to have a subject called graphics in secondary school, which I took before I selected what GCSEs I took. So I only did it for about 3 years, from year 7 to year 9, which I guess would be like middle school in American terms. And I'm not really sure if that's quite how the ages work out. But basically, before you had to make any big decisions about exactly which subjects you're going to commit to in your later education. And I comment on this a lot, but I was like, in retrospect, I really should have taken graphics as one of my GCSEs, because I actually really enjoyed graphics, but for some reason I didn't. I was like, what's going to be more useful to me when I grow up? History, essay writing skills. I'm not going to say essay writing skills are going to be totally useless to me or something, but it's not been particularly useful. But on the plus side, I suppose, the graphic stuff I could do without, I suppose, the pressure of having to do it for like a curriculum-based purposes, right? But in graphics, which is basically just sort of like art, but using software programs. So we use like Maya, we use like Photoshop. Actually, did we use Photoshop? I'm not even sure if we used Photoshop. We used Illustrator, definitely. We used basically any Adobe product and any Autodesk product. Of course, but it's my problem with graphics, it was my problem with music as well when we had it as a subject, is the thing that we had to basically use those software programs for the class and that sort of thing. But the problem is we don't have access to the software programs at home, of course, because we hadn't fully committed to the subject, so they can't just give us student licenses or that sort of thing, or we weren't qualified for funding, and I think necessarily for student licenses. And a lot of kids don't have computers strong enough to actually run these programs. Like Adobe products, especially, are very intensive. Like even nowadays, if I wanted to run After Effects properly, I would need like double the RAM I currently have. I only have 16 gigabytes, which is plenty enough for gaming, but it's not really enough for any sort of video rendering process. And my CPU is pretty good, I would say, but I mean, I suppose you could always stand to have a better one. And this computer is miles better than my old computer used to be. And not even my old computer, my old computer, the computer I had at the time. So it's not just like, it's really hard to do those projects. or your homework in graphics and music. Especially because one, you don't have a software license, so the way I did my homework was basically I just downloaded a free trial of the things and then did it basically in those 30 days. And luckily we only spent like 30 days on each program before we moved to a different program. But also, yeah, but the computer is often not strong enough to run it now. Of course, my computer was strong enough to run it to a decent level, but that's because I was super into like computers and technology and that sort of thing. Of course, I'm gonna have a good enough computer. A lot of people, though, you know, if they're much more sport inclined, you might be like, oh, so it doesn't really matter how well video graphics, but it's like that's a missed opportunity, you know, at the same time. And then you'd be like, the alternative is to go in to school and actually, you know, during your lunch times or during after school, during your break times, you actually try and do your homework in the computer lab. The problem is, you're sharing the school with like tons of other classes older than you who actually took GCSE or A-level graphics as a subject, or you know, music, but music wasn't very popular in our school, I'm going to be honest. And they definitely need a priority for computers because they're actually doing it for like academic purposes, right? Well, rather than you're just sort of like experimenting and learning. And you know, because the graphics and the art department was a lot smaller in our school compared to like the sciences and the sports departments, sort of like we didn't have enough funding to have huge amounts of computer labs. I think they only had one computer lab from what I recall. Did they have two? They might have had two. I honestly can't recall off the top of my head. So it's sort of just like a compounding issue where it's kind of difficult to actually get all the time you need to actually work on these projects in fast pace, which I think is a bit of a shame because I think I would have really liked it more. You know, I might have actually chosen it, but I might have done it as gotten like software licenses for it and done it more at home, and then actually, you know, transitioned into that sort of career path. Who would have known? Who knows? I mean, I guess I kind of am, sort of, but like not really to that much of an extent. But it's something was like, I guess I feel sad about it because it's, you know, it's part of my like hindsight is 2020, and also the fact that I actually quite like graphics. I'm sure a lot of people didn't actually really like graphics or that much. I just thought like, yeah, no big loss there. They probably have similar things to comment about their own particular subjects, which is, you know, fair enough. That's kind of, you know, the world doesn't move to a beat of one drum, etc., etc. But yeah, After Effects is something I actually learned quite a lot about After Effects from doing the subjects, and you might be like, I'm surprised you learned so much from when you were like 12-year-old to 14. That sounds about right. And yeah, the one I always think about is like some of my favourite graphics projects, which I don't know if I still have access to them anymore. I don't think so. I think they're on an old USB stick which kind of broke, which means technically it still exists. I just don't really know where it is. But if I ever find it again, maybe I'll do something about it. But there's two projects that always come to mind. One of them I talked about before is this video game project, which is amusingly a project some of my friends still remember, like my friends who were still in my class. Who were in my class at the time. It's not when I bring it up from time to time, but you know, when it's relevant, they still remember it. But it was basically this project I discovered. The specification was it needed to be a 4-minute video on a topic of your choosing using After Effects. And I was like, I like video games, so I'm going to talk about the history of video games. And when I wrote the script out and I recorded it, and I was like, oh, this is like 7 minutes long or 6 minutes long. Okay, so when I edited it again, and I was like, okay, it's still like 5.5 minutes or something. I don't know what to do about this. And obviously, me now will be looking back at it and be like, okay, well, let's cut it down a bit more. Like, I don't need to put all of these jokes in. I don't need to put all this stuff in. And this can be like edited down. You know, prioritization being like, what's the actual important part that I actually need to get. I don't know why I'm collecting shells. Do we even have seashells as a? We don't even have seashells as a thing. A prioritization of what exactly is important, and then if I go a little bit over, it's fine, because I don't think the teacher will care that much that I went, oh no, 30 seconds over and a subject which is strongly fueled by passion, isn't it? I'm sure he would just be like, oh, awesome. The fact you committed so hard to this and, you know, did so much right in the first place is fantastic, and, you know, I'm really glad to see that you've got so much energy and excitement for this project. But, you know, silly old 12-year-old me, or whatever, 13-year-old me, I can't remember, was like, okay, well, clearly the only answer to this is for me to say everything basically 1.5 times faster than usual and cut out all the breaths and pauses. So I was basically talking like this. I was like, welcome to history of video welcome to history of video games. In 1989, something in the Atarium, the cathode ray tube amusement device or whatever. I still remember bits and pieces of a script, which is the strangest thing. And then, you know, I edited it together. I think I edited most of it together, like on the days before the actual deadline. Mainly because, you know, of course, had to install the Adobe After Effects trial to actually do the thing, and then like I brought it in and like I will say, in retrospect, it was actually quite a nicely edited like thing. Like I used a lot of different effects. I remember like one specific thing I had the intro of basically me coming back home after school and just being like, you come back home after an exhausting day at school. You turn on the TV, you turn on your console, you turn on your controller, you turn on your Apple or something. Oh yeah, you come home after an exhausting day of school. You pop down your bag, you go into your fridge and grab a snack, and you sit down to play. Sit down in front of the TV to play a game on your console, and you'd be like, you turn on your TV, you turn on your console, you turn on your controller, you turn on your Apple, and then wait, no. And then I did a special little effects where I basically I pretended to push a button on the Apple, and then like I edited in, and I can't remember if I edited in a button or not, but maybe like depressed it, and then like I made it suddenly like pop up and glow like a lightsaber. I remember being really happy with that effect afterwards. I don't remember right, and to be fair, my teacher was also quite impressed with it as well. He's like, oh, you know, look at this. You're doing some external research following online tutorials, and being like, this is how you make a lightsaber sort of glow effect in After Effects, and I was like, yeah. I didn't say like, of course, because I was a lot more shy, so I was just like, Well, I was a lot more stoic and soft-spoken, I suppose, back in that school. I was quite serious, I suppose, so I probably was like, And yeah, I remember playing it, like, the teacher was like, who wants to play their video, or like, anyone volunteer, and then like no one put up their hand, and I was like, all right, and then, you know, I'll go first, I don't really mind. And I suppose that's part of the reason, and partly because, you know, I actually was quite proud of what I did, and, you know, I wasn't really scared in that vicinity, and I played it. I remember just like at the end, of course, the teacher always goes, you know, does anyone have any comments or questions? And then like loads of people put their hands up, and then we were just like, dear darling, do you have any comments? And you would like to say actually first, and I was like, yeah, it is like really fast. And then like 90% of people put down their hands, being like, okay. That's exactly what I was going to say as well. But then I did say at a point, I think I explained at the time, it was like, I thought the specification for 4 minutes was like a hard cut off. Actually, I must not have gone first now I think about it, because I remember commenting about someone else's, quite a few other people went like over the 4 minute, like, what's the word? Not like cut off, but like specifications. So I was like, I don't know why I was so like a stickler to specification rules. But you know, in a lot of cases, it is a good idea to be a stickler to like specifications. You know, especially if you're like working with a customer or client, and you're just like, I want something specifically like this. Yeah, you probably should stick to a specification, or at least if you want to change a specification, you should probably, you know, communicate that with them. I'm not saying that's how you should always break the specification, but this is an obvious situation where, you know, you're doing a school project, and I don't think the teacher would really mind if you went outside of the specification that much, seeing as he just kind of wants to spark your own sort of creativity and inspiration. I'm looking at it. It's still processing the HD version, so I'm actually going to delay this video to 5 PM. Because I don't know how long it's going to take for it to actually process. Or I can look at it now and see if it's actually processed. If it's the HD version or not. Open it up on YouTube. Don't listen, don't listen, don't listen. Hold on, maybe I'll just pause. Yeah, it's definitely not processed, but it also is Celeste, so it doesn't really look that bad on processed, but I'll delay it to 5 PM, and if it doesn't get processed by 5 PM, then whatever. you just have to enjoy that unprocessed video. Oh yeah, I was gonna buy, I forgot what else I was gonna do. I was gonna buy, whatchamacallit, gift wrap. Yeah, I think I did explain at the time, being like, I thought the specification was like, something I really had to stick to, when obviously I didn't. I also remember the music I put on at the background was At the Gala 8-bit version. But yes, and you might be like, At the Gala, what's that? And yes, that is a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic song. I don't know why I did that, to be perfectly honest, but I guess it sounded... I guess that was my My Little Pony face. In fact, it probably would have been in year 7 actually, so I probably would have been 12. Now I think about it. That's weird to think about, that is weird. How long ago that was. I suppose very topical to, you know, the fact that I was watching some of it recently. Well, topical is not really the right word, I suppose, but relevant. Yeah, what else was I going to say? And I mean, I remember in the end I got an A- for that project, and he was like, it was actually incredibly good. It was just, if you didn't do the entire thing at basically 1.5 times speed, if it was just a bit slower, you would have got an A star. And I was like, yeah, fair. Because it's one of those situations where it really did like hinder the potential of that project. Like, it was very difficult to follow. Well, of course, you know, I learned from that situation in the end, so it doesn't really matter. And now, you know, it's a very much a formative time. Well, you know, the formative lesson for me, where I was just like, why was I such a stickler for the specification in that case? And like, you know, certainly I was much of a rule follower. I was very much a rule follower when I was back in school, but it's just like, I was just like a pointless following of rules, you know. Rules exist certainly for a reason, but they have to be a good reason, I suppose is what I want to say. But it was actually, it was a really, you know, fun video to make in the first place and edit together. And I really learned like a lot about After Effects, and even now a lot of my video editing skills probably comes from doing that project. And I remember like After Effects, like how to move things, make things like follow certain paths, fades in, out, glows, special effects, etc., etc. And often nowadays, it's not so much, I don't really have much to video edit together, because the most boring part of video editing is actually finding the clips and then like splicing them together. Like the splicing them together is actually like super easy, so it's not that much of an issue. But the problem is, I don't watch any of my video, like the reason I don't do a lot of like video edits or like montages or highlights or anything, because I don't watch my videos, I don't remember which parts are funny and which parts are not funny. So that makes it very difficult. It's something which, you know, I think I commented on this before, if I start live streaming, I know Twitch you can do some sort of clips, and if I like triple, no, like increase my audience by like a magnitude of like 100 or something, and then people start actually doing like Twitch clips and that sort of thing, then I would be more than happy to actually edit together and some like montage clips of what happens. But it's just actually finding like the funny moments or parts which are worthy to be put in a montage is like really not something I like doing. I guess that's due in part because he's like, why would I watch my own video? I kind of lived in my own video. Seems a bit pointless in the end, but hey ho. But yeah, actually, it was a nice video. It was a nice video editing project. But there was another really good. Whoa, we should keep one of these spider crab. The spider crabs are very fun things to put down. I think. Is that free? Yeah. I was gonna say that's free deep sea critters. And the other ones, well, the other missions don't really matter all too much. You know what we should do is perhaps we should go around selling some coconut fruit so we can actually get some more bells back in the pocket. Oh no, we should actually clear out flowers as well, now I think about it. Yeah, anyway, the second project, which always stays in my mind, or like a really good one that I made, was also a My Little Pony one. Or also had My Little Pony in it, but much more prominently. I remember it was, what program were we, was it InDesign? I can't remember. It was one of the Adobe products, which is normally used to make like magazine spreads and book covers, and maybe not book covers, maybe just books in general, things like that. And it was basically, but the prompt was we had to make a children's book, and I was like, okay, a children's book, I can do that certainly. And I was like, what more fitting thing for a children's book? Wait, hold on. What topic would be more fitting for a children's book than My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, which I knew very well. So I was like, I'll just adapt one of the episodes into a children's book, and you know that'll be it. And I was like, it comes with a benefit of multiple things. The fact that I can now just take like screenshots from the actual episode, as my images, and you know I've already written the plot. I don't even need to think about the plot. I don't need to think about characters or anything, and it's already got a very child-friendly style. I think what a lot of other people did is they used like clip art or something, or I don't think anyone drew their own art, or if they did, but whatever. And it meant that I didn't need to focus on, you know, that part, which was not the important part. The important part was actually like putting the graphical, editing things and stuff together. Oh, it was also an interactive book. I gotta remember that it was a digital format, and you had to be able to put things in that were fun and interactive. And I was like, all right, you know, now I can actually focus on the important part of this graphics project. I think this is probably one I did after the video gaming project, which is probably why it was so much better in that sense. You might be like, what episode did you do? And I will reply with, I did Party of One from Season 1 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And then if you've actually seen that series, you'd be like, whoa, that's a bit of a weird one to do, isn't it? Isn't that kind of one where one of the characters goes completely psychotic and has a mental breakdown because she thinks that no one wants to come to our parties anymore? And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of made it more kid-friendly, if I recall. I kind of took the general plot of me. But the general outline of me basically being like, I want to throw a party for my friends. And like, I'm going to ask this friend to come. Oh, I can't come because I'm doing this. So I'm going to ask this friend to come. I can't come because I'm doing this. And then, you know, at the end she goes, why don't any of my friends want to come to my party? And then she gets a message being like, hey, come to our house. And then she goes to her house and it's like, we're throwing you a party. And it's all happy in the end, you know. I kind of skipped out the whole like mental breakdown part of Pinkie Pie. And it was all good. And I'm going to say this now, you know, obviously, couldn't make any minor, obviously couldn't get any like, I would be copyright claimed I suppose if I like released it or anything, because it was I'm using an intellectual property which is obviously not my own. I didn't create any of it myself, but I put it all, stitch it all together. It was actually a really good project is what I say. Like I remember like interactive things, like one of the first pages there were like Polaroid pictures which you could like swipe your mouse over, and like the Polaroid would like fade into view. These were like memories that she's had, and then like those things where you can like click on the photo and it'd be like an interactive pop-up book, but it wasn't like a pop-up, and it would like flip over to a different image. Why am I talking to you? I don't even remember. Oh, I forgot. Celeste was here yesterday, and I didn't visit her. And it would show like the next screen or whatever, and it was just it was really fun. There was a lot of like effects. Like I remember. Oh, even on the cover, like Pinkie Pie, the character, would like pop up under the title and like throw confetti everywhere. And then on the last page, it was like I had music playing and like confetti falling down because it was the actual party or whatever. Like, looking back on it, it was really good. And you know, back then I'm sure people were just like, ha ha ha, she made a My Little Pony like book or whatever. And you know what? Looking back, screw that. It was awesome. You know, back then I might have been like, oh, now I feel kind of bad about this and it's highly embarrassing. Nowadays I'm like, yeah, that's an awesome project. Rock it, you know. Who cares what the other people think? What do they do? They stitch together a load of clip art. Fair enough. By the way, that we stitched together a load of clip art, but really you could have made your job a lot easier if you just used like actual assets. I'm just saying. As long as the teacher was okay with it. Which I think he was. I must have asked beforehand. I don't really remember record, if anything. Because most other people just like had pages of like 5 pages or something in the book or whatever. Mine was like 20 or something, like an actual book. Anyway, just my usual overachieving self in graphics for no apparent reason. Well, I feel like it's a bit misleading to say overachieving in that sort of sense, because I actually really did enjoy doing that project, which is probably why I spent so much time on it in the first place. And it's even more bewildering that after seeing all these projects I did in graphics, my brain was just like, oh, I shouldn't do graphics as a GCSE. I'm sure essay writing and history and analytical skills would be much more useful. I suppose so, but it's not like I wasn't going to have those analytical skills anyway. Even if I didn't do history. Oh well. I still work with I still do a lot of graphical, like artsy stuff nowadays, so really no big loss, maybe. Okay, what underground missions do we have? We need to talk to people. Oh, we need to plant a tree. You didn't need to chop a tree. Plant a tree, chop a tree. Well, we'll talk to the villagers. I forget, that's what I said we should be doing, just in case they give us actual, like, unique conversations. Good afternoon, Rainy. Let's chat. I'm trying to make the most of today. I hope you do, Lily. I hope you do. Excuse me. I'm trying to think of what other graphics projects we had or what we did. I know we did. We did a couple of Maya, Autodesk Maya. Which, by the way, if you want a free alternative, you can certainly just use Blender, which I think is what a lot of people use anyway. I don't know. I'd imagine in the professional industry you'd probably use Autodesk, but or Maya, but I don't really know. I'm not in the industry, so who knows. Another awesome day for trading. You should join me sometime. It's actually quite a nice day outside today as well, here in UK. Yeah, we did too in my Maya. I wasn't so good at 3D modelling. It's actually one thing I do want to learn. I do want to learn how to properly 3D model using Blender. I've got Blender downloaded. I just never actually got around to doing it because I don't even know what I'm doing in the first place. I just need to watch tutorials and get... But there's too many things I want to do, you know. Unsurprisingly. As soon as I hear about a skill, I'm just like, I want to learn how to do that skill. Of course, you know, there's only so many things you can do in your life, so you've got to pick and choose. Anyway, what was I saying? I've got some My Little Pony songs stuck in my head now. Cheer you if you're feeling low, plant a garden, watch it grow. Anyway, sorry. Where was I going with all this? Oh, other graphic. Oh yeah, those graphics projects. One of them we did was we had to create a new video. I don't know if it's a video game console or a video game controller. It might have been a controller now I think about it. Come on, fishing rod, do your job. You haven't caught anything. I remember mine was basically what was kind of like a really bad version of what the Switch is right now. Except for it was this. I think it was basically a Switch. it was basically like it's. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this Joy-Con like controller thing I'm holding, then like the controller where you can put slide the 2 Joy-Cons in. If you know what that is, it's basically that, but stretch it out and put the Switch screen in there. That's basically what my new console controller was. I don't remember like anything else from it, but that was the main gist of it. It had like a screen on the controller, and I was like, whoa, isn't that weird? I don't know if a Wii U was released at that point, to be perfectly honest. I was just thinking about you, thinking about seeing your face, your big old adorable round head. I would say in real life I don't actually have a very round head. I have quite a long head, if anything, but Why was I going with this? I don't really know if I was going anywhere with this, to be perfectly honest. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Every day. Oh yeah, the other project we had was we had to make a spaceship and like terrain, and then like record. Not a spaceship, like an aircraft. That's a word. Flying around like the terrain and like using the cameras or whatever to follow it and do dynamic shots and that sort of thing. I was really bad at that project. I'm not gonna lie. Thinking back, I'm pretty sure my project on that one was utterly terrible. But you know, you win some, you lose some. What other projects did we do? Oh, we did one in an Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. We basically, because schoolhouses is a thing in the UK, if you don't know, if you're wondering what that is, think about Harry Potter, you know how they've got like Gryffindor or Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or whatever. We had to basically make a t-shirt with a schoolhouse on it and a motto. By the way, my motto was the one that was chosen for our school, for our class's house, so not to brag or anything, but we had to like design a concept and I like a theme for it, an idea, and then a typography to go with it. And my concept was balloons, and I don't know why. It was just balloons. So I will say it's a bit boring as a concept I would have thought right now, but I understand where I was coming from. Sometimes I get a craving for coleslaw or nothing, and I mean nothing else will do. So I remember what you had to do, you had to take like a background for it, background picture for it, and the background picture I took was just like a close-up of a load of balloons, and then I edited it with like to make the colours pop more, but I think I put like a rainbow gradient over it, I don't really remember. And then the actual typography, obviously I just made everything a balloon. And I remember one moment where I was actually working on it, and then I could sense the presence of my teacher, like not standing behind me, but like just sort of watching me. And then he called over and he was like, "Dear." I was like, "Yes." I was like, "Yes, sir," because that's how we talk in British schools, I suppose. And he was like, "Come back here and look at your work." And I thought I was like really in trouble or something, and he was like, "You see anything about it?" And I was like, "Oh, I see. I can't read the letters O or T because I put them in bright yellow on like really bright background." And he was like, "Yeah, you got it." And I was like, "You know what? I'm going to change those colours," and I did change those colours to something else. I don't know why that's in my memory, but you know, he was a cool teacher. You know, he was actually quite. I think at first impressions, he's quite a scary and imposing teacher, but apparently I have quite an intimidating first impression as well. I might have heard. So, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. I think he was a pretty cool guy. He must have been pretty disappointed I didn't take graphics, I'm going to be honest. Sorry, sir. If you're watching now, I do a lot of digital art, so you were right when I should have taken graphics, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, if anything, I kind of am taking graphics now. It's just like my entire hobbies. I can't think of any other graphical projects we have, but yeah. Those are the most interesting graphics projects. I'm sure we did more, but I really can't think of any off the top of my head. And I'm trying to think of like other Adobe programs and what else we used. That one we used Illustrator, I thought. I talked about InDesign. I don't know what we did in Photoshop, and I'm certain we did something in Photoshop, but I cannot remember what. But anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here. So I don't know if graphics is really what the normal name of a subject is. It might be called design and technology, but except for that's not really like software graphics, I suppose. But whenever your school calls it, if you've got your own projects, you know, do share. I'm interested to hear about them. But for now, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares, I greatly appreciate it. Join my Dear Darling Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.